government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
The only man currently facing charges in the case, Dwayne "Keefe Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
Could Diddy really have been involved in one of the most infamous moments in hip-hop history? The question has been buzzing in the air for years, but now things are getting hotter than ever. Some fresh revelations suggest that the music mogul, Sean Diddy Combs, might have played a more significant role in the event that shook the world back in the 90s, the passing of Shakur.
Now for what's trending in true crime, nearly 30 years after the death of legendary rapper Tupac Shakur, the man accused of his murder is now claiming that Sean Diddy Combs once ordered a hit on the rap icon. In a recent court filing, a 2009 interview between police and Dwayne "Keefe Davis is making headlines yet again.
So what's bringing this story back into the spotlight? Well, let's rewind a little. We all know about the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that dominated the hip-hop scene back in the day, with Shakur representing the West and Diddy, alongside his protege Biggie Smalls, holding it down for the East. But now, it's not just music beef we're talking about. There are rumors, fresh investigations, and some wild accusations that Diddy might have been involved in planning something way more serious. The fact that these rumors just won't go away is starting to get people talking. And most importantly, it's getting law enforcement interested again.
The story we're tracking, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on side watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after two judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from workers very soon.
Here's the deal. Recently, a series of reports dropped claiming that federal investigators have been working closely with local prosecutors on a collaboration that could potentially link Diddy to the unthinkable. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't just fan gossip or tabloid rumors anymore. Serious investigators are now allegedly looking into the possibility that Diddy had something to do with the events surrounding Shakur's untimely demise. And it doesn't end there. According to insiders, Shakur's family has hired private investigators to dig into Diddy's connection to the whole affair. That's right. Shakur's family is not taking this lightly, and neither are the feds.
It has taken countless hours, really decades, of work by the men and women of our homicide section to get to where we are today.
Now, let's talk about the key player in all of this, Keefe D. If you're not familiar with him, Keefe D is a self-confessed gang kingpin from Los Angeles who was allegedly in the car when Shakur was fatally injured in 1996. Keefe D has become a central figure in the investigations. And let's just say, he's not staying quiet anymore. In fact, he's been dropping bombshells left and right, and it's his alleged information that might finally connect the dots between Diddy and Tupac's last moments.
So why do you think they tied Diddy name to it?
Because it makes the East Coast and West Coast war works for the authorities and for the news media. Didn't no cops do that. It was an East Coast, West Coast war, and it was a drive-by shooting. It was never no damn drive-by shooting.
Keefe D has reportedly been cooperating with law enforcement, and get this, he's claimed that Diddy might have been the one pulling the strings all along. In previous interviews, including an eye-popping sit-down with Vlad TV, Keefe D spilled details about that fateful night in Las Vegas. According to him, a notorious chain of events led to Shakur being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but what really caught everyone's attention is his claim that the whole thing wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment act. He suggested that Diddy had some kind of involvement. He even dropped hints that a high-profile figure, whom many have speculated to be Diddy, offered a large sum of money to make things happen. And that's where things start to get really interesting.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
You see, Keefe D didn't stop there. He's hinted multiple times that Diddy's involvement might have gone way deeper than anyone thought. In his memoir, Compton Street Legends, Keefe D detailed how the whole operation went down, and while he didn't explicitly name names in certain parts, he left enough breadcrumbs for readers and investigators to pick up on. The narrative is becoming clearer. Diddy might have been more than just a bystander in the East Coast-West Coast rivalry.
P. Diddy has consistently denied any involvement in Tupac's murder. He stated multiple times that he had no connection to the event. And in an interview with Vanity Fair in 2017, he said, "I never had anything to do with any of the violence that was going on during that time."
And here's where the plot thickens. Federal investigators aren't just sitting on this information. Sources say they've been in contact with local prosecutors in Las Vegas, sharing details from various investigations, including evidence collected over nearly 30 years. The goal: to figure out if Diddy really was involved in orchestrating what went down. And it's not just about Shakur's family wanting justice. These investigators seem determined to get to the bottom of this decades-old mystery. According to one insider, this collaboration between federal and local authorities is the most extensive probe into the case yet, and they're pulling in witnesses and looking into old files that may have been overlooked.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
Shakur's family is all in too. They've hired top-tier lawyers, including big names like Alex Spiro and Christopher Claw, to represent them in their quest for the truth. This isn't just a run-of-the-mill investigation. They're going full throttle to find out if Diddy had any role in what happened. It's worth mentioning that the family has been vocal in the past about seeking justice for Shakur, but this time they're backing it up with serious legal muscle. Some reports even suggest they're planning to file a lawsuit if they can uncover evidence linking Diddy to the case.
They pressing him so bad, and I don't know how I should say this, that a week or two ago, they beat him up in jail. The cops.
Of course, Diddy has always maintained his innocence, brushing off rumors and speculation as baseless. But let's face it, when you're implicated in something as high profile as this, and when the allegations keep resurfacing, it's tough to simply walk away without raising eyebrows. Especially when people like Keffe D continue to drop new information. But what's really driving this renewed interest in Diddy's potential involvement? It seems that several events over the past year have reignited old suspicions. First, Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, came forward with shocking allegations of her own about the music mogul.
There are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
While her claims weren't directly related to the Shakur case, they painted a troubling picture of Diddy's personal life and raised questions about his behavior behind the scenes. Some are now speculating that Cassie's allegations might have opened the door for others to step forward with new information or corroborate old rumors.
If you got to run to a private island because your evil doings is doing so much and they storming your house.
Adding more fuel to the fire is the fact that federal authorities recently raided 2 of Diddy's properties, reportedly looking for evidence tied to a much larger investigation. While the initial focus seemed to be on other charges, there are whispers that some of the information gathered during those raids could connect Diddy to the events surrounding Shakur's passing. We don't know for sure what was uncovered, but the fact that law enforcement is digging into his past raises some serious questions.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in the...
Let's not forget about retired Los Angeles FBI field officer Phil Carson, who has been dropping some intriguing insights into what might be going on behind the scenes. Carson suggested that Keffe D may have decided to spill the beans on Diddy as a way to save himself. He pointed out that it's not like the old days when people would stay quiet out of loyalty. Nowadays, it's every man for himself, and Keffe D might have seen this as his ticket to a lighter sentence or even some form of protection. Carson's comments definitely raised some eyebrows and added a layer of credibility to the whole theory.
Well, I'd certainly view everything he's saying with a lot of suspicion, right? He was in an interrogation in 2009 and offered this information up. And if he's truly involved in the killing of Tupac, he's looking to throw anything out there, to throw mirrors out there to deflect the accusations against him onto someone else.
At the same time, retired LAPD Detective Greg Kading has been a vocal figure in this case for years. Back in 2008 and 2009, Kading led an investigation that allegedly uncovered a lot of details about what happened the night Shakur was taken out. He even released a documentary where he claimed that Diddy put out a large sum to take care of both Shakur and Suge Knight in retaliation for the escalating tension between East Coast and West Coast rappers. According to Kading, Keffe D was in on the plan, and his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was the one who pulled the trigger.
Now, Combs has long denied any involvement with Tupac's murder. He's never been charged. Our question this morning, how believable is Keffe D's Diddy accusation?
But here's the kicker. Kading's investigation was met with mixed reactions at the time. Some people believed he was onto something, while others dismissed his findings as just another conspiracy theory. However, now that Keffe D is talking more openly about that night, it seems like Kading's claims are getting a second look. Could it be that the detective was right all along? And if so, what does that mean for Diddy?
Named Diddy 77 times in court documents related to Tupac
Okay.
Let's not forget about the rumors swirling around that Diddy had a strange obsession with Shakur. Some sources claim that Diddy admired Shakur's success and may have even wanted to emulate his path, both in music and acting. According to some reports, Diddy was so fixated on Shakur's career that he mimicked one of Shakur's award speeches during his own Grammy acceptance. While this might seem like a small detail, it has left many wondering if there was more to their rivalry than just musical competition. Was there a personal vendetta simmering beneath the surface?
Housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated.